balmy shores of sunny Florida to the cold winds of Chicago and everywhere in between, you're watching the Red Wemette Show, live, coast to coast. Talk of the town, Mr. Red Wemette.
Hello, folks. Today is September 1st, Labor Day, 2025, and I am Red Wemette. And with us today, we have Joe Celozzi. There we go. Sound. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. No sound.
How about now?
Now. Now we got sound.
Okay. I see. I just learned something about the little button to the left. It's called inundated now, Red. Since I became a special guest on your show, it took about 9 shows finally to get the right lighting, the right look, the right sound, being on time. I would say I was getting there about 70%. You know, I would think. I don't know. I slowed down my speech, right? I pause every 30 minutes instead of once every 45 minutes. I'm doing better. And because you know what I didn't say, but I watched the shows afterwards. I didn't want to do it the first few. I was scared, but then I said I should watch myself just to see how it comes across. Right? You're your best critic, yourself, right? Because you can't lie to yourself. You know the truth. So
another thing is we're doing it live. A lot of people don't do them live. They record them and then they out what they want, what they don't want. When you're live,
yeah, that's more nerve-wracking, but you get the best out of the person, I think, when you're live. I think so. Yeah, for sure. You know what? That's interesting. I thought everybody does it live, but you're right. They don't. Well, thanks, Scott. Appreciate that. I'm motivated now. I was just telling them. See, Scott, it must be the glasses now. I did the Clark Kent look. I got rid of sunglasses. I hope I'm going games. Well, thank you. Yeah, Christina.
Now.
Well, yeah, I'm what you call social. I'm a social. What is it? Butterfly? What did you say? I'm like I'm with it. There you go, James. Well, look at there, James. I talked to James last night till about 3 o'clock in the morning. He's my hero. This guy, James, worked for me back in the 80s. He's done it all. He's got through health problems. I give him credit, man. He's my hero. If I had 20 of the strength this guy had, I would.
Just me.
What's that?
If he's the same James, I know him from Facebook.
Yeah.
He's the same age as me.
Is he? Yeah. I don't know. He's about, right, how old are you? 70 what?
76. 76.
Okay, I think he's a little younger than that. Maybe. I don't know. He's from Chicago, so you're from Chicago. But get back.
Does he participate in the Outfit Past and Present news on Facebook?
That's a good question. Probably. I don't know. That's a good question.
If he is, I know who he is.
Well, you know, how long you been on social on these shows? How many years now, Red?
Oh, I've only been on these shows like 4 years, but I started doing interviews with other people. In 2016. The first one I was Barry Jenkins.
Yeah, I saw you on the news. Is that when you went on first?
No, I was on the news way back in 88, 89, 90, 91, 95, 94.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
2005, 2006, 2008, 2010. And then 2016, I was on the news.
When did the book come out?
2016.
Yeah, because I remember watching you special on the regular mainstream news. They had you on all the channels. Yeah.
I was
all the outfit.
I was on mainstream news a lot. But see, that what they edited that. They edited out what they didn't like and kept
Right.
what they did.
Right. Oh, I knew of you. I mean, I really knew of you, and I knew about the book coming out and all that until I saw it, and then you being interviewed, and like you have in your intro, nobody cared what I did. It's interesting that you picked that out because it fits it. Really, I don't know why. It just fits it. You're
Jimmy said he'll be 55 in 2 weeks.
Geez, God bless you, Jimmy. God bless you. Wow, 55.
I've got 20 years on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be 65 in January. My God. Time flies though, Red. You know that.
Hey, being 65 is better than being dead.
That's true. And healthy. And healthy. That's the main thing.
That's important.
If you got your health is better than wealth. Right? Because I know a lot of wealthy people that don't have their health, and they would say they'll switch places with anybody at that point.
Wealthy people are not happy.
Well, I thought about, we talked about Red today's show. Now that we finished, my brother finished one show about the Sam Giancana assassination, as we all know, and they finished up the end of July, as you all saw it, and they got 3 big names starting it, and I think it's gonna be a great angle, I believe. And
John Travolta on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cut from one of the
and you said it, and I hate to repeat myself, and you're usually right, because you don't talk unless you got facts. Some people may argue with you and everything. I know facts, and I listen to you, and you got the facts, okay? And you mentioned the thing about Roselli. I did not know that Roselli was there, and I keep saying that because I did not know. Nobody talks about that, right? And you knew it. And obviously, if my brother made the main character is Travolta, it was his Roselli. So that tells you a lot just by Roselli being there. Okay, period. Okay, it's not about what his involvement was. He could be next to the shooter or whatever, witness shooter, put together the shooters, whatever it was, he was there. Okay, or knew
he was there. I wasn't there to see him. I wasn't there. Marshall Cafano told me he was there.
Okay, well then you're right 100%.
Because Marshall Cafano was there with Chucky Nicoletti.
That's right. And Chucky was Mooney's guy. And you said another thing. Now they have somebody playing Tony Accardo. Now, why were they playing somebody's playing Tony Accardo? He felt that character, by looking at the information, what he got and read over, and the information he got from Pepe, that it had to be in there, right? So you got 2 characters. You got Accardo, which my understanding after it happened, Sam got up was sitting around and went right to Accardo's house around that time or whatever, met him. So I don't know, or he had mentioned that he had left Accardo's house after the incident. I don't know where these guys could have went back then, because the FBI was following them everywhere. They had heat every minute back in those days, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, so it was very hard for them to go anywhere, I think, without them knowing where to go.
When Sam got up, they lived at that house in Oak Park that he bought. And when he got up, he drive to the Armory. The Armory Lounge.
Yeah.
He had a tail from the time he left his house. This is from 1956, going all the way back.
Right.
Till the time he got to the Armory.
Yeah.
So it was
and my thing was, when they had the meeting in New York, it was him and Accardo that went. So to the mountains. Remember New York when they met all the bosses came from around the United States?
You were there at the Appalachian?
Yeah, he was there. It was Accardo and him, they said. They got away. They got away when
they were running through the cornfields.
Yeah. So Accardo was there, suppose. That's before I think Accardo stepped down. Right after that, right?
It was before he stepped down.
Because it was Sam, Accardo was the boss, Sam was the underboss, and then it was Rico and Sam for a while.
No, Rico.
How'd it go?
Paul Rico was an equal to
Accardo.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
He was kind of a boss, but he was the chairman of the board at that time. and he kind of let Accardo run the day-to-day business.
Okay, that's okay. So
It was different. It's like, it's like when at the very end, like in Family Secrets, Lombardo was there, but he didn't run the day-to-day business. It was that they gave over to Jimmy Marcello.
after Wings and after Nicole, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Joe Nicole and Wings went away, it was Marcello, right?
Well, Joe Nicole, he died. He had a heart
He
attack.
died. Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, it was Sam Wings and it was Joe Nicole. Then when one died and one went to jail, then it was Marcello. Who else? Who was the underboss then? After when
Really know. I'm not really sure. Nobody ever told me. But I do know that his advisor was
Rocco
Lombardo. No, his advisor was Joey Lombardo.
Lombardo. Okay. What about Johnny D?
He came in later. DeFrancio?
Yeah.
He came in when everybody got arrested and went to jail.
Okay.
He was like, in my opinion, he was like third string. He wasn't
Right.
He wasn't second string. He was like third string.
Yeah. It's funny because, and I told you this, when he was we went to dinner with his sister, all the ladies for a birthday party. It had to be, I don't know what year. This is after, I would say, right 2003, probably, or somewhere in that time. I think 2004, maybe 2003. He was at Spavone's restaurant with 10 people, and I'm on a date. And Tony Spavone walks over to me and he said, Johnny D wants you to do Elvis for his sister. And I went like this. And I go, not tonight. No, it was a Monday, Tuesday night. There was not many people there, maybe 30. And he goes like this with his face. He goes, look at the points over there. You got to, like this. And I go, what do you mean? What's with the shoulders? Like pointing. And I go, oh, come on. He goes, he asked if you would do it. And I saw Chuck Gowdy and Jerry Daniels. He said, Tony Accardo definitely killed. That's the thing. We'll talk about that after I tell the story. That's like you and I talked about 3 days ago. You and I read. That's what he just asked me, Scott. Let me finish. So he goes like this. And he goes, Papa. He goes like this, Papa to me. I go, oh, no. He goes, now the girl I'm with goes, you do Elvis? And I go, yeah, I used to do Elvis professionally. So I didn't know you could sing Elvis. I go, you got to be practiced. You got to be practiced. And he goes, come on. The father's here. The boss tells you to do something. I go, oh, wait a minute now. The boss, I don't work for him. And he goes, come on. So Tony gets the mic. He goes, Joe Celozzi to come up and do a song. I get up. And so I pull a chair up. This is true. I sit down next to, I think his sister was in her 70s. I held her hand and I sang, wise men say, and holy fools. And then I did Love Me Tender, love me tender, love me true. And all of a sudden, oh yeah. And I get up and Johnny goes, thanks, Joe. He goes, tell Nicky I said hello. He calls my dad Nicky. So that's how they know it, Nicky. Call him Nicky. I said, well, thanks a lot. I said, Tony, you ever make me do that again? My God, I saw him over there. And I didn't even know that he saw me over there, right? I don't know. But anyways, when Mayor Carey was going to buy a Cadillac store, Mayor Carey, Johnny DeFranza gets on the phone. Mayor Carey's talking to my dad. Next, somebody wants to say hello to you. It's Johnny DeFranza. He goes, Nicky, I'm sitting with Frank. He goes, can you make a deal on this store over here? He goes, he's offering us at least money, not enough money. This was like, say, 96, 97. And he goes, nah, I can't do it for that price. All right. But Frank was sitting with Johnny. And my dad did not know it wasn't, they're supposed to make a call. Hold on, someone wants to say hello to you. Well, my dad said hello to him, but they didn't make the deal. But he gets on the phone. Now, I don't know if he was involved with Frank McCurry. Who knows? So everybody says, oh, they're I don't know. Every time you have an Italian guy that's successful, right away he's going to, I get back to what this guy has asked. Okay, Scott, it's funny you asked that question because I asked Red the same question we talked 5 days ago in my car. I called Red up. I go, Red, I saw a thing at Chuck Gowdy, and Chuck Gowdy swears he got intel that Tony, they just couldn't prove it, that Tony Accardo went over there and killed Sam. And then, and I'm going to tell you what Red says. Okay, Red, now you say what your answer was. Go ahead.
He said on Gary Jenkins' show, he said,
okay,
FBI closed the books on that. Well, not formally, but they closed the books on it.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and says, they know that Cardo did it. And he said, our evidence is based on this. And by that time, I'm listening real carefully.
Sure.
They had Accardo under surveillance. And a half hour before Giancarlo was murdered, he left the house. They don't know where he went, but he left. And then
Accardo was under surveillance. Accardo was under surveillance. Or Giancarlo.
Well, Giancarlo's surveillance got called off.
Okay. That's right. Okay.
And then a half hour after he was murdered, Accardo came home. That is their evidence. That's the whole thing. That's their evidence.
Wow.
No hearsays, no witnesses, no evidence. I mean, I could have left my house at the same time that he was murdered. 1975? Yeah, I was living on Richmond at that time. I could have left my house and done the deed and come back.
Let me ask you a question. Was he out a lot during that time? Was he moving around? Not at all?
He had gallbladder surgery.
So he was home. He didn't run around in his car nowhere.
That's right. And that's another thing I didn't like about the sausage and peppers that he was cooking.
Bean.
Was it bean?
Yeah, it said sausage, beans, and peppers.
Okay. I didn't like that because it was too greasy. He couldn't eat that. He just had his gallbladder taken out.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're right. I never thought about that.
So he was making that for somebody else.
I like that. Wow, that's good. That's true. And you're right. Why would he cook at 12 o'clock at night? Right. Go downstairs.
He just got through having a big dinner with everybody.
He's got the maid upstairs.
Like a lot of friends over.
He's got the maid. The maid is upstairs. She could have cooked for him. The lady who lives there, the caretaker.
He was doing it special for somebody.
You're right. So the person was coming over. He knew they were coming over, obviously.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
And they came down the stairs of that entrance. There's an entrance from downstairs that walks into that.
Outside, from outside, you can go
from outside. That's right.
It's like 4 or 5 steps going down.
That's right. That's right. And so he knew they were coming over, and so it wasn't what Annette said. Remember, she said she saw somebody leaving the house, and they're making they look like they're mad or something. Remember, she said that day.
I don't know about that, but her recent statement that she made in a video was a year ago, and she said that she did not believe it was outfit oriented. She believed that it was done by a member of the CIA.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would they have asked Accardo to kill him? Because the possibility the
CIA, no.
They would never ask Tony Accardo to do it?
No. The CIA,
would he have done?
Accardo would never talk to the CIA. No.
Well, let's just say somebody got to Accardo. Say, listen, they want Sam dead. Would you do it? Would he do it? If it would have been
Johnny Roselli, if it would have been Johnny Roselli, Chucky Nicoletti, somebody like that, yeah.
But not him. He would never have done himself.
No, he was 69 years old. He's not going to get a car and drive over there. And
that's right. Yes, you're right. You're right.
He didn't carry a gun for years. He was upset about it. People even say he carried a gun.
No, you're right. You're right. At his age, to go do that, that's a little too much, right?
You want somebody younger and friskier. That's all. And
would he really have to be there? But so if the CIA did it, the CIA would go to one of his friends for sure and tell him to do it. Right? That could have been. Now, how long did Roselli get killed after Giancarlo? 6 months?
2 years.
So, and they found him in a barrel.
1977, he died. In 1975, it was Sam Giancarlo. And Chucky Nicoletti about the same time. Nicoletti.
Oh, right. What, about a month later?
There's no doubt in my mind it was all connected to Kennedy.
Right.
Their deaths were connected.
Did Nicoletti have cancer? He had cancer, didn't he? Who? Nicoletti had cancer.
He got shot in the back of the head by the Golden Horn restaurant. He went
that's right.
Somebody there, they popped him in the back of the head.
Lou Nichols owned that. Lou Nichols, he was the owner of Golden. Lou Nichols. He actually got a heart. He had a heart transplant. Not months afterwards. He had a condo in Boca Raton, were my dad had one, and so did the Donos. The Donos had one, and so did the guy who owned the restaurant in Melrose Park for years.
One down there, right in Boca.
Yeah, not far. Yeah, same with Dom Cortina. He had one right down there too with Jody, because Jody used to go.
Like Rattan, that was it.
Yeah, you know, I not to get off the subject, but I told you when I was there in 1976, I was playing tennis, and a guy that was playing tennis, a kid my age, he had his arm didn't go all the way down. It was broke, but it wouldn't extend. It only extended like halfway, like wouldn't extend all the way straight. It would extend like an L, right? And he's from New York. His grandfather was the old man, not Gambino. It was the little guy. What's his name? The guy, the
Carlo Gambino.
Yeah, his father was a son, right? And we were talking, and that was when Mooney was still alive, right? And I said, well, my great uncle was Sam Giancana. Well, him and I were best friends for those 5 days. We hung out. I don't know where his dad was in the lingerie business. Okay, the lingerie, you know, in New York, which you know what that meant. And so I get a call. I get home within 3 days of my house. The phone rings. It's at dinner time. I'll never forget it. The old man goes, "Who's calling? We're having dinner." You know, the old back in the day. And no calls, don't ring the doorbell. And he goes, "You got a call." It was him on the. It was him on the phone. It was that kid on the phone. He says, I don't take this in a bad way. He said, I want to thank you for your friendship in a couple weeks ago in our vacation. He goes, but I can't hang with you. And he goes, I was just told that wouldn't be a good idea. And I go, no problem, nothing personal. And I said, well, thank you for the week. He goes, so I can't call you and don't call me. No problem. And I thought that was the weirdest thing. So I waited. I would talk to my dad about it. And I go, Dad, remember that guy I was telling you about? His grandfather was Carlo Gambino's dad was in the lingerie. Okay. He goes, yeah. He goes, and he knew that my great uncle was Sam Giancana. And I get a call saying his family doesn't want him and I talking. He goes, I can understand that. He goes, it's just too, I can understand it. Don't take it personal. He probably, and I thought that was weird, but in a way, they're very nervous. Whose kid is out there in Florida playing tennis with you? What is that all about? Check it out. Well, he wasn't allowed to call me, but he wanted to tell me that his main thing was for me not to call him. That's why he was calling. Please, I want to get hold of you first. And, I can't take your calls or whatever. And I thought that was weird. I'm not Sam Giancana's son or grandson, right? And I thought for him to say that, it was weird. He was at a West Point. He was at a high school, all boys high school, and he fell out of the second floor. Never forget it, and broke his arm. And that's why his arm was like this. And he was in the middle of operations, so they had to get the operator going like this, let it heal, and then they had to do another operation after that. So it was in the middle of because I don't think it just wouldn't extend. And but yeah, the guy called me, and I thought that was the weirdest thing for me not to hang with him.
Yeah,
it was, so who knows? But get back to the movie thing. So
hold on,
everybody,
a question here.
Yeah.
You want me to read it aloud?
Yeah, please ask Joe again. How is he related to Sam's daughter? Sorry if it was, yeah. So
how are you related to
Annette?
Yes.
Okay. Antoinette, okay, which is Sam's daughter, is my mother's first cousin. My mother's mother, Mary and Sam, were brothers and sisters. So Annette is my mother's first cousin. Annette's kids, the three boys, would be my second cousin.
No,
so third cousin. No. My mother's first cousin to Annette. So her kids would be what?
So she would be.
Yeah, my mother's first cousin.
That would be an aunt to you.
No. My mother and Annette are first cousins. So I would be second cousins to Annette. And the kids, yeah, second cousin. Yes, I would be a second cousin. That's right.
Because
remember, Carlo and the three boys are Manos. They're Manos, but their grandfather was Sam. Sam is my great uncle. It's my mother's uncle. So Sam Giancana is my mother's uncle.
So your kid, like Joey, is he's a third cousin.
Third cousin, that's right. Third cousin. Right. And as you know, I looked at the ancestry. The thing I have, it's on my bloodline. Their name used to be called Giancarlo, not Giancana. I looked up the thing. Yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah, it was spelled a little different. Yeah, the tree, right. So that's how we're related. And I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not the relatives." First of all, I never wanted. It's not like I want to be a relative. It's fact. And second, why would my brother make a movie all over the world? The great nephew, right? I mean, let's put it this way: if we weren't cousins, relatives, you don't think that would be all over saying that they're not relatives? Joe, do you know Donald Angelini's daughter, the nurse? Yes, of course. Donald Angelini is my son Joey's godfather.
He is.
Yeah. Yes, the wizard's son. Yeah, the wizard and the two sons are lawyers. Donald and the brother is a lawyer. One's both in DuPage County and Cook County. Okay, Phil Angelini and Donald Jr. Angelini, and the nurse Susie Angelini is the nurse.
Bill thanks you.
Yeah, okay, right. That's what I thought. Okay, third. Okay, you're welcome. Donald Angelini Jr. is my son's godfather. Don stubbed my wedding. Donald Jr. stubbed my wedding. I told you the story when the wizard is brilliant. His father, the Wizard of the Odds, he got my case. he got my case to read, right? When all my stuff happened, and he read it. When I got out of the place, I went to Giannotti's. He happened to be there, right? And he goes, the lady tells me right off the bat, no more house charges. Your dad doesn't want any more house charges. Well, that was nice to come out to that. He goes, so Donald's standing there. He goes, legend. He called me legend. Come on, follow me. Oh, I follow him into his office. He gets his phone. He dials Celozzi's phone. Nick Celozzi, this is Donald Angelini. Yes, Donald. Gets my dad on the phone. And he goes, Donald. He goes, yes, Nick, I have your son Joey here, and he's cut off the house charges. He goes, yeah, Don, He goes, that's okay. I'm going to pick up his check from now on. He goes, what? He goes, yeah, I'll pick up his check. All right, Don, turn it back on. He can use the house charges again. No problem. Tell him it's okay. He hangs up the phone. He goes, I read your whole case. He said, they should be buying you steak dinner every night. That's what he said to me. And I thought that was nice, because he didn't talk. And what a gentleman. You heard what happened to him on the boat. He's dying of cancer. About 4 months before he's died, they noticed that he was on the boat. They told him to get off the boat, the gambling boat. Yeah, because he's on the book. He's been going on for years, right on there. And finally, at the end, they realized who he was. Because my mother used to go once a month, and she would see him, and she'd say, Carol, put a chair next to me. Carol, come sit next to me. Mrs. Celozzi, sit right next to me, Carol. And my mother would sit next to him while they gambled at the blackjack table, right? And then finally, at the end, when he was dying, he wasn't allowed on the boat, the gambling boat. Isn't that horrible? Yeah, because he's black. Yeah. I mean, I guess anybody that's a felon are not allowed on the boat. Is that true?
No. Any gambling casino. If you have gambling there, they can't be involved.
How about me? Am I allowed on the gambling boat? I'm a felon. I failure to file forms. I mean, is that a felony?
You got convicted. You did time, didn't you?
Yeah, federal. Yeah, but it's been past. It's been past 10 years, and I've never been convicted. When I applied for jobs, I come back clean because I'll go back 10 years, right?
You know what you should do is filed for restoration of rights because it's been 10 years and you've been clean.
It's been 30 years.
You. Pardon?
It's been 30 years.
Yeah, but it's over 10 years. So you
over 10, yeah.
Your rights. You can file.
I paid my fine. $100,000 fine. I never got in trouble after that. Been clean, not even nothing. Right? So I should be able to. I can own a gun. If I file, I can own a gun because I already put in the thing that I can. Because it was a tax crime. Failure to file forms. So it's not even like
it's a nonviolent crime. But
right.
What I ask you is, have you been convicted of a felony?
Yes.
And if you got to check that box, yes, you don't want to do a Hunter Biden.
No. Right. So I guess
Rights restored, Joe. You can have all your rights restored if you file the paperwork for it.
But I vote. I vote. I get my voting every year. Every time I vote, my name's in the voting. I vote.
Joe, all I'm going to tell you about that is it says on the application to vote, when you get your registration.
Yeah.
Don't do it where you're living right now, because it says on the application when you register to vote, have you ever been convicted of a felony? If you put no, you're lying, and that's perjury.
Yeah.
If you put yes, then they don't want you to. They'll red flag it and they won't let you vote unless you restore the rights. I do it with people around here all the time that were arrested for. They got a felony record that goes way back when they were a teenager or 20 years old or something like that. Most of them are statutory rapes, where it was a statutory rape. The girl was younger; he was like 20, she was like 16 or 17. But sweethearts, they wound up marrying each other, having kids when he got out. But that's what happens. One guy was talking to me. He was over where my mother used to live, and he said, "I can't vote." And I said, "Why not?" And he told me. And I said, "Give me the paperwork. I'll file it for you. I'll make it all out. All you do is sign it and mail it to him." He did. And bang, his rights were restored. He got a letter, restoration of rights. And he went out and bought a gun. We went hunting together.
Well, now, what if you're stamped organized crime, OC? Then you can't be in those, right? Because
it wouldn't be stamped that way on your. No, it wouldn't be stamped. Nothing is. It's only the FBI files go that direction.
Well, why did Tony was not allowed to casinos? Why? Remember?
That was the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, where you live right now, it's a little different. Where you used to live, it's a lot different. You can get away with it in Chicago or the Chicagoland area. You can't get away with it where you live.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you go to jail over something like that. When you
I get it.
Why not?
Yeah. Because I know people like, I got a voting right when I got out. I voted. I got my voting card. So I don't even think they knew I was away. Like, that's how screwed up they are.
They didn't. And you probably didn't sign anything that said on a they just kept giving it to you. But now that you've moved, you're going to have to the form.
Yeah. I haven't voted.
If you buy a firearm, you've got to check that box.
Now, in every different states are different. Some, like Illinois, you have to have but other states you can be a felon and own a gun, right? Yes. Some states.
No, not a felon, because you got to go through a background check. You have to go through the background check. But other states don't require that you have an FOID card.
I got you. That's right. Boyd.
But if you own a firearm and you sell it to somebody, you are responsible for the person you sell it to check and see if they have a felony.
That's right.
It's best to go through a gun dealer, but if you sell it privately, you can buy guns all the time. Criminals do it all the time. They buy guns on the street. They don't go to shops. They go to a guy on the street. If they want something, they order it. The guy goes in and steals it from somebody's house or something like that.
Yeah. It was funny you said I had a gun in the 80s. A buddy of mine sold me a gun. And about a year later, he says, that gun you bought for me, go find it. And I couldn't find it in my house. He goes, I know you couldn't find it. It was an armed robbery. It was still registered in his name.
Wow.
In Chicago, yeah. So he figured he knew it wasn't me. So somebody took it out of my house. And but he whatever happened, he got it cleared up. But yeah, I couldn't find it. He goes, I know you couldn't find it because I just got a call. The numbers was that we're still registered in his name. This is back in 85 or maybe back in 87. Yeah, a handgun, Enjoying this program. So much thanks, Red and Joe. Linda Steffens. Man, you have a lot of women watch you, Red.
Some.
You might be like a male magnet or something. Did you ever think of that? The women like you?
Adam told me that one time.
Is Jimmy Files' story used in its movie, Jimmy? Used in the movie.
The one that did the headshot on Kennedy? No.
All right, let's get back to the okay. So get back to Ricardo. Then we'll talk about the movie, my brother's movie. So, when we talked about Ricardo, so there's somebody playing Ricardo. You told me somebody was playing Ricardo in there. I didn't even know. You looked up to my brother's the actors, the parts, and you must have saw Ricardo in there, right? In my brother's movie, November '63, and I see who's playing Ricardo, and so there must be enough information that Ricardo's got a character in my brother's movie with the Kennedy, another one. So, but as you know, Ricardo was not involved in the decision making about the Fidel Castro. It was Traficante, right, in Florida, because they had the casinos there too, majority of them.
He went to Tony Ricardo because, Traficante was down there, but his family wasn't as strong as Chicago.
Right.
And even New York wasn't as strong as Chicago. Chicago owned everything going west.
Chicago was own island, right? They were like there was like you had Chicago, and then you had the 7 states around us, basically, right?
Well, even Detroit, they used to come to us for help.
Kansas City.
Why was the what do they call that? The pension fund?
Yeah, off of
Chicago, because
you're right.
Chicago's help. But that's Detroit. Cleveland, same thing. They went to Chicago. St. Louis, they went to Chicago. New Orleans, they would call Chicago up. Even Milwaukee and Ballet. What's the guy's name?
Chicago.
No, he was. I can't pronounce the name right. The boss in Milwaukee.
Bill.
Balliasto. But yeah, that you got it.
Yeah.
He would call Chicago and let them know what he was doing. Everybody worked with Chicago. You didn't just sneak behind their back and do what you wanted, because if you did, they punished you. You know how they punished money? They punished you by not letting you have things that you wanted. So
New York had the 5 boroughs, but Chicago had the 5 states in a way.
No, going all the way to California. They had California.
Yeah, we found out pretty fast how many Godfathers, underbosses there were in the United States when they went to New York. Yeah, they're at Ballesteros. That's it. He's got it. She's got Ballesteros. Yeah. Wow. See, you're knowledgeable. See, all your people are fact based. They all know. We do a fact check. Just hey, who's got the facts? How you doing, Chris? Chris 328. That's interesting. You don't have people that they look like, Red? You know their faces? Most of these people? You know their faces? None of them?
No, I get really surprised when I see some of them on Facebook, and I'll actually see what their faces are. And then I get kicking up because some of them actually have a moniker that's a mobster. That's a mobster's picture, and they put that in as their picture. Just put something. I have one that occasionally he'll stop in here. He'll say he's Joey Yupa, and he's got Joey Yupa's picture.
But New York knew our strength. The New York mob knew our strength. The New York families, they knew our strength. Now, remember, Al Capone was from New York.
Going all the way back to the 40s.
Yeah.
Way back
Al Capone was from New York. Al Capone was from New York. Louis the Mooch Eberle was from New York. Sam's family was from New York. Yeah.
Yeah, but once they went to Chicago, it was like New York didn't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them were sent out here, right?
It belonged to them now.
Yeah. But I wonder if there was any kind of, I doubt if there's a bunch of communication going on between the families, like Ricardo in New York. Probably not. Through the years,
it was important. If it was important, they did it. Like when they were going to pass New Jersey, they were going to pass legalized gambling, and I believe that was 77. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. But what happened was Tony Ricardo got a hold of them in New Jersey, and they sat down. And they had a talk, and they said, "We won't come into New Jersey, but you have to stay out of Las Vegas." And a lot of the New York families were investing in New Jersey, Atlantic City.
Right.
There was going to be a vote coming up in a year, and it was called increase the taxes or legalize gambling. and everybody voted to legalize gambling because nobody wants their property taxes to go up. So they did have a sit down on that one. And at that point, it was said everything west of the Mississippi belongs to Chicago. And they all agreed, all 5 families agreed, we will stay out of your territory.
Yeah. I would say Chicago's like Florida in a way, right? Florida was their own. The Florida, would you say?
Florida's weird. What's his name in Tampa?
Yeah.
He had Santos or what is his name? Tropicana?
Yeah, Tropicante.
Yeah, he was kind of he had his own territory and everything, but he had more than he could eat. He didn't have a lot of people. He didn't need a lot of people. He had more money coming in than he needed. So somebody would come down from New York or from Chicago or any place, and they would go into narcotics or something else. They weren't taking food off his table. They had his blessing. All they had to do is give him a couple pieces to eat. That's all.
Yeah. What I tell you, the biggest fallacy was, organized crime. Oh, we don't do the drugs. We don't sell drugs. No, they opened the ports for them to come in, and then whoever took them from there sold them. But they allowed them to come into the ports. They got their cut, right? New York, all the family.
I didn't know about this back then. I really didn't.
But there's a big article. There's a bunch of docs on it.
I was told that if you deal drugs, you're going to die. That's that.
Yeah, Lucky Luciano. He brought by the kilos in, but he didn't want to sell it. He thought it was going to the lower ethnic groups, to those kind of people. That's what. And no, don't sell but children. Chicago smoked like the bottom 4 big red animal.
Okay, thank you, Lonnie.
What was he saying?
Lonnie's a good guy.
Yeah.
Santos Trafficina.
Aren't they right? Right. Well, Trafficante, he never did. Did he get jailed at the end? He got arrested, didn't he?
I believe he did. Yeah.
Toward the end. Yeah. So the New York mob. They lasted for another. They lasted to 2020. I think the last bunch of guys went. The last teens, right? Yeah. There were a bunch of arrests about 5 years ago.
If you go way, way back, Sam Giancana okayed drugs.
That's right.
But you're right. It was in the black neighborhoods.
That's what they said. Yeah.
It was. They would do anything that they wouldn't do in their own neighborhoods. And they didn't want to get in their neighborhoods. I remember he had he was talking to somebody on the phone. I think it was Nicoletti. Might have been Nicoletti. He was over in Greece. And he told him, he said, get back here. And he said, oh, I'm admiring the architecture and everything else. And he said, I need the drugs back here. Get back here.
Yeah.
We're waiting for a shipment. So they knew it was coming. But it just wasn't done in our neighborhoods.
Yeah. And also their perception of drugs, like not nowadays, was Hollywood, entertainers, musicians used them, and the lower, I don't want to say African Americans, that was where they were at. You didn't sell it near schools, and if you smoked marijuana, you were a drug addict back then. It was bad. So the perception of all that was not around. My dad said he didn't see it, but you went to those areas, you did.
When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me, and my relatives used to tell me when I'd ask about marijuana, because marijuana, they didn't call it weed or anything. They called it marijuana. But,
yeah. Ganja, Acapulco Gold.
As a kid, there was only one name for it, marijuana. That was it. But they told us, quote unquote, only colored people use that.
That's right. That's right.
What they told me. That's what they told me when I was a kid. They didn't even say,
right.
They didn't even say black people or anything like that. They said colored people.
Colored, so, yeah. Colored.
When I looked at that, I just looked at it and said, okay.
So let's talk about my brother's movie now. All right, we'll come down to that. So once this other movie done with Giancana story with the assassination, and as I talked to you before, Red, and we're going to be doing it on your show. we're going to start as we get closer to the date, and as I can get any kind of information that's going to be public, I'll make sure you get it as either at the same time or before, so you can put it out on your show first. Like I promised. So because you're my
comment today. I look at the comments every day. I was looking at the comment today that was in there, and it said, when is the movie coming out? I guess they didn't want to sit through our whole talking about things, because we did say it won't be out till 2/26.
Right.
But he just asked me, well, when is the movie coming out? And so I told him 2026, but check with us later.
Yeah, it was wrapped in July, and the Lord takes from edit and go through the process. Yeah, you're probably right. 2026, probably for sure. Got to be that. It's only 4 months away.
Off the editing shelf yet. It's still going through editing, I'll bet.
That's right. That's right. I'm excited about it just because the actors are great. His 3 main actors, and I'm excited, really. And the next movie they're going to do is Legitimate Wise Guy. And as I said before, I did see this is about a year ago, that Christopher Moltisanti, the guy that played in Sopranos.
Is A Legitimate Wise Guy the story about Tony Spilotro?
Yes, about Tony and my brother. The relationship with Tony helped my brother in Hollywood, and what Tony had, what he was involved with my brother with Hollywood, and his relationship with Frank Collada. For whatever back then, as we talked about, Red. Frank, my brother was there every 2 weeks for 2.5 years, right? From 81 till 85, before he died. And they had the fallout with Bob Conrad, as you know, and all that. I went and saw Tony a couple times, and Michael, but they have somebody playing. I'm in the movie, my character, supposedly, and the guy that plays Christopher in Sopranos, that played Tony Soprano's, what's his right-hand man? Christopher's name. I forgot his real name. Oh, Michael Imperioli. Mike, the actor. Well, he's playing me, or was. This was a year ago. He looked at it, and I know what scene he's gonna put in. I don't think it's a great scene. I don't need to be look like that, like an idiot. The scene where in Cicero had my bar, and I threw the guys out, putting the machines in, and he said, and I threw him out. I didn't know. And next thing, my dad gets a call and says, you got a choice, your son. Either he's going to put our machines in. This is how we roll that street. And my dad says, you're 2 months in the business there, and you want to piss people off, and you throw these guys out. And I didn't know anything. And he goes, not only that, they're pissed at you. I was 24 years old. Yeah, I might have been a little rough. I just said, get the fuck out. My buddy just spent $15,000 on video games, poker machines, pool tables, right? And so what did I do? I had to go along with the program. So Orlando, he was right-hand guy. He goes, I didn't even know he was involved. Next note, that night, they come walking in. Okay, take those. I wasn't even ready to get the stuff out yet. Move that stuff to the side. They bring their stuff in. I had apologized. Orlando's there with them, with these 2 guys. How the hell he got with them? And he goes, okay, give him $5,000 to me. I didn't want no $5,000. He goes, you're gonna pay it back $100 a week. They'll take it out of your earnings. If you make $300 a week, you get $200. No interest. And I go, I don't want the $5,000. No, give me $2,500. Orlando took $2,500. The old man, see, I didn't care. He grabbed $2,500 of it. So I got 25. He got 25. He charged me. The old man. He goes, oh, you're always taking money, And that was like my mentor. That was a guy that at one time was getting all the shit done with DuPage, with the courts back in the 70s and early 80s. This guy, you got anything fixed back in DuPage County. So anyways, yeah, so that's going to be in the movie. That scene, the scene where Michael Spilotro came to my to the bar one night. He grabs me. I got to talk to you. I thought I was in trouble. What did I do now? He goes in the men's bathroom, and he goes, I got to talk to your dad about your brother. There's a big fallout. I said, Bob said your brother can't act. And I go, I know the story. Nikki had an argument with Bob's manager on the airplane, the Cessna airplane. They had a big fight in the airplane. And right, that's right. And Bob don't want to help him. So he's blaming he can't act. And I go, just tell my dad the truth. My dad knows about the fight already, about Bob and his manager, Nikki. So Bob don't want to help him no more. If you want to blame it on, he can't act, that's not necessarily true. Well, Bob don't want to do anything. So Tony found out.
That you could be a king one day and a bum the next day, and they'll say, "Oh, he can't act."
He can't act. Well, Tony finds out this is a fact. And Tony finds out because Michael told him, he goes, yeah, my brother found out. He got on the phone with Bob. He said, listen, you helped the kid out. I put him with Bob these last years. He's done being Bob's Chinaman. Drive him here, drink 40 beers and margaritas all day. Nicky would drive Bob Conrad. And Nicky said he was the most, what do you say, the most record. He's met everybody in Hollywood, but he's nobody with Bob. He was Bob's right-hand man, almost like his lover or something, right? In a way. Here's my friend Nicky. It was weird. He was at Farrah Fawcett's house. Anybody, Jimmy Stewart, anybody who was anybody, Bob knew, right? Bob's old Hollywood, right? Wild, Wild West. Well, Nicky really was. He helped him in Hard Knocks, that pilot. He had that Baba Black Sheep or that one series, and he got Nicky.
I used to watch Baba Black Sheep.
He got Nicky on Magnum PI. He got him 18 Hardcastle McCormick. He got him on 5 of those shows 2 years. Nicky, like an hour. The one of the special, one of the Saturday at Texas Walker Ranger. That was afterwards. And anyways, he got Nicky on those. Okay, and the Texas Walker Ranger. He was with the guy Stephen Bauer from Scarface. The guy who played Al Pacino's brother at Scarface. That he was on. He was A-Team. Little parts. Okay, and the bottom line was. That's what Bob helped him. As far as making him a big star, it didn't happen. Okay. And so that whole relationship went dead. And then 6 months later, they got whacked, both brothers. And you know the story. I'm at the casket. I went to the wake and I looked for Nicky's casket. And I go, where's my brother's casket? What do you mean? I said, his career is dead.
Yeah.
They, what do you mean? I said, yeah, seriously, not to be stupid. It died with these two guys. And I'm going, the guy goes, yeah. I go, yeah, because now nobody do nothing for him. And basically, it's funny because the minute they died, my dad had to produce movies. He had to make Nicky star in one, right? What was the other movie? It was called Slaughterhouse Rock with Tom Riley from Chips, Eric Estrada, the blonde-haired guy, the guy who was on the series, Hot Dog Nelson, Tony Basil. Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. So you blow my the singer, Tony Basil. Hey, Mickey. She had that song. The #1 song, and she also Devo did the soundtrack for Slaughterhouse Rock, and then he was in 4 other movies: Dumb Luck in Vegas with Joe Travolta, Jeff Conaway, and they did Hidden Obsession with Heather Thomas and J. Michael Vincent. That was filmed at on Manheim Road over at Sugar Shack over there at Montana's place. Yeah, that's the movie I'm doing Elvis in. That's the one I'm singing Elvis. Okay, and J. Michael Vincent was in there. He went on. He got a bad accident. He was in the 80s, the biggest star. He had a series on TV. He went down the tubes. Heather Thomas, beautiful blonde, Fall Guy, Lee Majors. She went, Nicky's smart. He was his big TV stars. They were big, but then they had to fall off. The big name, but then when they go,
Maybe acting wasn't his niche. Maybe
writing and producing, directing. 100%.
And maybe directing, out there and getting involved with direction and everything else. I don't know.
Look, you can look at his movies. He's done about 20 movies.
This movie because it's his work, and we'll see what happens.
Red, you should be in the movie. They might need extras. You and I should be in a scene. Maybe it's filmed in the 70s, like in a bar, like they have somebody sitting down. Do you remember Mob Wives in Chicago?
Oh yeah.
Remember the series? I was in one. I was in the one in a bar scene. I'm sitting at the bar. Nicky's talking to Fred the German's daughter about exhuming the body. Remember out of the ground? Remember that? Yeah, that's my brother. My brother's in that. My brother is the one that got all those girls. He co-produced it with the lady from New York. You know that, right? And my brother had to sue them.
New York was not a lady. The lady from New York was something else.
Yeah, my brother, they want to pay Nicky. They want to pay him. Well, guess what? They paid him. And better than that, the guy that produced it was Weinstein, President Weinstein's company. He was in the movie Hidden Obsession with Nicky. Richard Glasser. David Glasser is stars in that movie when he was an actor. Got a big job.
David Glazer.
And you know what he does now? He's a big shot with Paramount. He did Tulsa King, Yellowstone. Yeah. He's he's a smart kid. He was in the movie, and I told you, his brother is the voice for Fifo Goes West, the rat cartoon. Remember that at the movie theaters? Fifo, Fifo Goes West. He's the voice of the mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, David Glasser, Richard Glasser, and David Glasser, and the father did. He did the song for me, "The King of Rock and Roll," when I went to lay the voice on it for the movie. That I did Elvis in the movie. You know that I was owned that Sugar Shack. I own the club where the girls are getting killed at. You know,
I was busy at the time, but I watched. And the only reason I watched it was I wanted to see what Nora, because Frank had talked about Nora a lot. Like things he told me were like, you know, where I live down south in Florida. He said, my daughter, everybody carries a piece. And he said, my daughter carries a piece in her bra. He's explaining it to me. He said, nobody messes with anybody like Chicago. There's nothing like that down by us. And then,
was he close to his daughter? Was he close to his daughter, the German?
Yes. As a matter of fact, there's a saying that he had. This is a quote. And she talks about the mob wives. She actually says it. That her father told her, my dad told me, she said, and he told me this himself. He said, she is the son that I always wanted, just no balls. He's telling me all the time. So and she's
I liked her. I liked her. I was out with her a bunch of times with Nikki, and when your sister, remember sister called in on here? I was at her house and everything. She was nice. Nikki's the one that got her for that. I told you, my ex-wife went to the final call out for that, right? And she came there drunk for the mob wife.
Wasn't Farrakhan in there? Yes,
his niece, Debbie. But my wife made it to the end. She would have been, because Sam Giancana's great nephew, right? So married to me, she would have been in there. Kim, beautiful girl, but she came there drunk at the last tryout and didn't get it. My ex. Hey, $5,000 a week they got paid.
I heard
10 episodes.
I heard at the time that gal that was the producer.
Yeah, her sister starred in.
She called up Nora Schweiss and she said, I'm so and so, da 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 da. And Nora said, don't ever call here again, you idiot, and slammed the phone down. She called her for like 15 times. And then finally she got through her work. Nora got her back.
Yeah. Well, what happened was my brother put her and Deb for Figueroa on a management contract. Well, they were paying my brother 15% of their income. They paid for 2 weeks. So my brother got a check from both of their checks. The third week, they didn't want to pay my brother no more. They said, screw it. And the lady got involved. He goes, they have to pay me. My brother sued him. They can Google it, all your people. Nick Celozzi sues mob's wives. You'll see the whole thing. And they settled. Glasser paid my brother. He paid him the money he owed him. And that was it. But they never did season 2. So my brother goes, do you want to be in one of the things? I go, yeah. So I went downtown. That was the scene where they're getting Frank's body out of the ground. I was in the bar.
They were exhuming the body, her father's body.
Correct. Well, in that scene, if you look,
$15,000 to do that on the show.
Well, listen, if you look hard in there, and then where Nikki's talking to her about the body, or what her idea about the body, I'm there. I'm in the scene. You'll see the side of me at the bar with a beer. I'm not drinking it. I'm supposed to be, patron. So I'm sitting there for fucking 5 hours, the same beer, and okay, cut. And I said, this ain't a reality show. That was scripted. That whole scene was scripted. And then the scene about her, I didn't know she stripped before. She stripped. Yeah, I didn't know that. And she called in stripping that she couldn't strip because she was on the rag. And they want to put that in there. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Christina. Appreciate it. Well, thanks, Red, for having me on the show. That's I love talking to Red. We talk about 50 hours a day. I can talk to them all day. I may move in with Red. We'll just come right from your place. But no, getting back to that. So they talk about reality shows. It's not a reality show. It's not a reality show. It's scripted. Every scene is scripted. And when they pull their hair and fight, scripted. Oh, yeah.
When they had the fights, I saw the outtakes of the fights. So sometimes they start fight. No, that wasn't right. Get more aggressive.
Well, you must have, because that happens. That happens. Yeah. Yeah. Or you could have made it worse than what it was. But when I sat there I thought I'd be in the show, like say something. Okay,
No
there was
lie.
6 of them. It was a little bar on in the city where they filmed this scene about her exhuming the body, which I thought was ridiculous, right?
I thought it was down by Riverfront. They used
Probably.
the
Where,
studios that belonged to Oprah.
well, the one I was in, it was actual bar. So wherever that was at, I sat at the bar, my back to them. Okay, so when they were shooting, they had a cut. You can't look at the camera. I kept looking like this, and what am I supposed to do? I didn't mean to look. I just, if you're gonna look, don't stare at us. Stare at the camera, right? So they had to cut a couple times. So I said, "Fuck this shit. I'm not for it." Oh, see, thank you. Oh, Tassie. Oh my God. Now Tassie's father worked for my dad for years. He was a partner at a toilet store. Tassie's dad, and Tassie's dad is the one that sold me the gun. Small story, yeah. Her dad did.
Okay.
Yeah. And her dad was also stayed at my house one time when a guy was trying to extort money from our family, $50,000. So weirdo. FBI was involved. This is in the 80s. And they had the phones taped, and they got my sister's house, a little fire right by the house, and they thought my house was next. Her dad stood in my couch with a gun all night, but nothing happened. They caught the guys, some weirdos out of Bellwood. They kept over a 6-month period. First it was $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and making weird calls. Finally, we got the FBI involved, and then they try to turn it on me, like I know something about it. Right away, I'm the bad guy. What the hell? I go, well, it's stupid, But it's weird shit happens when you're on TV. People believe that they grew up with you. I don't know. I don't have that personality disorder where if I see somebody on TV, I want to be him. I mean, it's sort of crazy, Red. The crazy shit that goes on. When you're just the fact that you're on TV.
I hate that question, and I've heard it many times in my life. If you had to be somebody, who would you want to be? And it takes me like 5 minutes to think about it. It did then back in those days. And I was always happy with me. I was happy being me. I don't want to be anybody else.
Yeah. And you're right, Red. People ask me, how's it being you? It's the worst thing in the world because those 20 years, your old man on TV every minute. Sure, it's nice. You get a girl you want. You buy what you want. But it's not reality. It's everybody's approaching you with a different idea. And if you don't give them what they want, or if you don't hang with them when they want to hang with them, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And they turn on you.
Man, one day you're a bum. If you become a bum.
It's all bullshit. That's why there's nothing good about it, because the more money you have, the more problems you have, and you can't buy yourself happiness. It doesn't happen. And you got to be almost like, I hate to say it, but the Jews have it right. They're low key. They don't buy homes. They don't talk. And better than asking for money, because they'll go there. Why? What's wrong? You do something wrong. You don't have money. They'll give you advice. Maybe you shouldn't do this or do that. You'll have this. They'll give you advice, but I don't know. It's not what you think. It's not great. And I always said it. You got too much credit when you shouldn't.
That is one ethnic group that I never had a problem with in life. There wasn't one that I disliked. I mean, my lawyers were Jewish. All of them. I didn't have Irish lawyers, Italian lawyers. They were Jewish lawyers. All of them were good. Every one.
They get the job done. They get the job done. It's nothing personal.
When I told them this is what I want, they didn't say, well, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it the way we want. They understood me. Because many times I used to say that before that to my friends. They were my friends. No, you work for me. I pay you. So you're going to do what you're told. And
right.
Some attorneys would turn around and say, no. You're going to do what you do.
If they like you and you pay, you got it. I mean,
everyone that I always had Howie Gilman was my favorite attorney. And his son is a friend of mine. Howie passed away a long time ago, before I left Chicago.
Only guy, Alan Ackerman. He's the only guy, Alan Ackerman. He's the only Jewish guy.
I didn't like him.
Is he still alive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's still alive.
Is he?
But Howie told me at one time, he said, or his son told me, he said, You know, in 2016, when I caught him on after I started, he bought a copy of the book, and he said, "My dad always liked you. He always talked about you," and he said, "You were kind of different. You were the only guy that my dad would go and see at his house. You didn't come to the office, and if you wanted to call him, you called him at home. Nobody had our home phone number except you. I was only 15, 16 at the time, his son." But he said, "I remember." And then one time my dad sent me to your house. And I said, "What for?" "To pick up an envelope." Money. But everything was done on a very personal basis. It wasn't like, okay, make an appointment with my secretary or this or that. Or if I call the office, they just say he's not in. And I catch him at home.
Yeah.
Great guy.
I think that's why Italians and Jews got along. The Italians and Jews, pretty close to the same kind of, people.
Always.
Look at my dad and Maury, 35 years. They got along. They're a perfect example. And an honest man.
It was a good marriage. That was a good marriage. It lasted a long time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a beautiful fit. Where you just had one guy knew his stuff and the other guy knew his stuff, and they both excelled at their positions, which means a lot, I guess. Did I read Great Lawyers? I need one. Mike looks for magic. I like that. Mike looks for magic. I don't know. Who's the big? Well, isn't Adam a magician? Is Adam good?
Yes, very good.
Now, does Adam know how those magicians do it? Those real fancy. Oh, he knows.
Every trick he knows. He knows them all.
Is there a thing about it? They take an oath that they're not allowed to talk about it?
It's called you make your living that way, so you don't talk to anybody else about what somebody else is doing.
But he's never told you how they do it?
No.
Red, I'd want to know some of this stuff.
He has a floating cigarette that floats all over the place.
Really?
And it's in the midair. And then it goes to his mouth, and he'll take a puff on it. He'll throw it away. It comes back from another side.
How?
He used to work on the street on Fremont Street.
But how does he do that?
He won't tell me.
I once saw David Copperfield, right? And at the Drury Lane.
When I told him about David Copperfield, he said, "David Copperfield's not a magician. He's an illusionist."
Right. Okay. That's true. Because Red, I saw him at the end of his show. Now I saw it. He's talking. He thanked everybody for coming to the show. He puts a helmet on, sits on a motorcycle. I watch right there. I'm watching everything, looking to see if he's moving. He sits on the motorcycle.
Scott has seen the floating cigarette. Scott H. went out to Vegas a few times.
And look what happens. The sheet goes over the motorcycle of David Copperfield, right? Disappear. All of a sudden, up in the ceiling, way in the back, a guy's coming down on a wood plank with 4 chains covered. And it's coming over my head like this. I'm looking. It comes down, back to the stage. There's David Copperfield.
I saw it.
How in God's name did he get? I watched it. I didn't see nothing.
He uses a double.
You think he has to, right? He has to.
But
I saw it. But Red, I saw him. My daughter Jasmine went out with the guy Chris Angel from Mind Freak, and she went out to dinner with him years and years ago. She said she's at dinner. He puts his hands over her head like this at the dinner table and pulled out forks and knives over her head. He had them in his hand.
Chris Angel owns a show out there in Vegas.
You're right.
And Adam's wife works for Chris Angel.
So she knows all the tricks.
Well, I think he hired her because her husband, is a magician.
Well, what about when he did Red?
Mm-hmm.
Red, he did that one. He's in the streets of Las Vegas. He's got a microphone here, right? He's talking. He has in the middle of a crowd. He goes in the big green garbage can they put over his head, right? He's talking, and they're holding the top of the garbage can. All of a sudden, lift the garbage can. He's gone, and he's at top of a building across over there behind. Now, let's call a spade a spade. How did he do that?
An illusion. It's an illusion.
Well, so you're telling me he was never by the garbage can?
No,
but I'm
not telling you that because he could by the garbage can. But the long distance one that you're looking at, that
yeah. It depends. I mean, It's almost like black magic. It's almost like are they evil?
Whatever you're looking for, you're not going to find it right there.
Okay.
Be another place.
But you know what I'm saying? These I know with Copperfield, he's illusionist. They give her the Eiffel Tower where you're sitting.
But while you're looking at this hand is doing all the work. So
okay,
waving your arms and it's all.
What about the people that stood on stage in a circle, all held hands? He got cut in half, right? Of sawed in half, and they're spinning both things around, and there's 20 people in a circle around it. How in God's name that happened?
I don't know.
He didn't really get cut, obviously. So that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's such a. Now they got these holograms coming out. They said they're going to be perfecting them now next year or two.
That's what got me was David Copperfield. All the way back, he had a hologram going.
He was the beginning. It's funny you said that. He was the first one to have that. One of the first.
When I saw that, I was very much amazed. I was fascinated by
or an elephant appear out of nowhere, in the middle of the stage.
He did. He had a couple times. He had an elephant appear and disappear, and I looked at that and said, And then I watched it with the big one, the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, I saw that.
Disappear.
That was when you were sitting. He made you disappear where you were sitting, right? Not where the view was at. They disappeared, right? It was they put all the people here on this side, 50 people, and where you're looking, it disappeared. Now, if you're sitting on the other side, it didn't disappear. No. It just was your view, the illusion.
Any magic trick that you look at, if you're not looking at it from the front, if you're looking at
that's right. That's right.
See how it's done.
But what about these card tricks? Those are weird. I mean, let's be honest. Or the numbers game.
Adam does all the time. Adam does card tricks with me all the time.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's got. He tells me about something. It's called a push, where he can push what card you have out of your mind. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. And he says, "Oh, then it's got to be this." And he pulls the card up, and it's the card. And I'm on Zoom. We're doing this on like this. So I mean, it's not like I'm telling him anything, but he tells me there's a trick to it.
Well, with the cigarette thing, this floating cigarette, and I've seen floating doves, floating flowers, or floating feathers, or whatever they do it. Do you ever
look him up on YouTube? Adam Flowers Magic on YouTube, and look for floating cigarette because that's his trademark.
And how did you right there? You saw it right in front of you.
He's on YouTube. Yeah, I saw it at his home.
Right, in person.
Yeah.
And did you try to figure it out? You try to look?
I try to figure it out. I was more mesmerized by it happening because he didn't know he was going to do it when he did it. So it was one of those kind of things where I didn't expect it. And he's very clever about that. He's very clever about it.
But he knows how other magicians do it. They know.
Oh, yeah.
But they keep it secret. Like nobody talks about it. You have to sign an affidavit. Is that true?
No. It's not like that. I told you, Joe. If you make your money doing it that way, you don't want to be telling somebody how your tricks are done, so you don't talk about them.
Okay. That makes sense, Red.
The other.
I mean, that always mesmerized me. The evolution of magician over the last 50 years, how it's gotten to, right? It's gotten to the point where it's mesmerized. It's like, it's crazy.
Did you see The Illusionist with, what's that guy's name? Actor. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. He played in a lot of movies.
What's his name? Let me think.
It's called The Illusionist, and it was really good. And
yes, I know you're talking about. Yeah, he does it's part of the movie, right? He does that in the movie to get away with stuff.
Yeah, but it's back in like 1800s. It's long time ago. Or Houdini, that was an illusionist too. Eric Weiss. I was kind of the boy who made it big in a business.
And Houdini, who failed because he punched his stomach, right? He had stomach problems. It was terror.
He couldn't hold him. He had an appendicitis, and
there you go.
When he wasn't expecting it.
That's right.
First the appendicitis, and he didn't go to the doctor. He went in the tank. He, killed him.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. Is magician? Is that still a big thing in Vegas? The shows.
I think it'll always be a big thing. Well, Chris Angel has his own show.
Yeah.
He's got his own company, his own show.
Yeah.
So what they do, I never asked Allie, Adam's wife. I never asked her. I was talking to her last night, but I didn't ask her. But whatever goes on, yes, the name is Edward Norton. Ed Norton. He does the movie called The Illusionist. It's an exceptional movie. If you haven't watched it, if you got Netflix or what do you call it?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime or something like that, watch him. He's really good. The movie's very good. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know that David Blaine's good too.
Pardon?
David Blaine. He's good. David Blaine, the New Yorker, he gets frozen in ice. That shit, I don't know how they do it. Or underwater. It's a lot of it they actually work out and physically can do it. I know, hold his breath for 8 minutes. Something like that. That's crazy. I don't know.
Going back to Harry Houdini.
Yeah.
He used to put ice in the bathtub and keep icing himself down for weeks before he jumped into the waters outside. So it didn't bother him. His body was acclimated to it. But other people, see him, they used to come out with a blanket on, all kinds of covering before he jumped in the water. He'd have a swimsuit on. Jumped in New York, what do they call that? East River, whatever. All those things.
Yeah.
And people would say, how does he do it? His body was ready for it. He just got out of the water. He's sweating because it's in a normal air.
Yeah. It's just it's just something else when it comes to that. Always thrilled me. The wise guys and the magicians are like my. I always found it interesting. They're both illusionists, right? To be a good wise guy, you have to be an illusionist.
Let me watch your money disappear.
Exactly. When they start spending their money, that's when they got in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Ed Norton brought buddy on the honeymoon. Yeah, well, that too. Ed Norton. You know what the famous thing is? Remember the scene when he handcuffed them together? He couldn't get the key, and he goes, "Ralph, do you mind if I smoke?" He goes, "I don't care if you burn." Remember that? Jackie Gleason.
They had some terrific lines.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, I liked but you know what, Red? I tell you, when they start the new movie, my brother's new movie, this time we got to get a scene. Hopefully, where if they film it, they need extra. You got to come out. We got to do an extra, just somewhere sitting somewhere in a bar. You and I having a drink. Hey, there's Red and Joe. Yeah, look at this. You're right.
Really, I've never really been any. I'm not that. My best act when I was acting was the guys when I was mole for the FBI. That was my best acting.
You could play a wise guy. You could play an aging wise guy. Yeah, like one of them gold godfathers that go for advice in the movie. Every hour you see you sitting there instead of a chair, and they're coming to you for advice. An aging godfather. That'd be good for you. Yeah, you look like with your robe on, with the fedora hat. Laying there, and you're still relevant, but you're not relevant. One of them. What I'm talking about. Like an aging wise guy on his way up, but he still has power. He still got his fingers and his tentacles in it. I'm like a Cardo.
Do you want to come back next Monday, Joe?
Yeah, for sure. Sure. And let me get my dad on the show. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm pretty good. He wants to come back on there. So let's get my dad.
You know that.
I know. He said it. He talks about you every other day. He says, "How's Red doing? How's Red?" And he goes, he was impressed by the first time he talked to him. He was very impressed. He said, "Boy, he made me feel comfortable." He said you'd be a great car salesman. He said, "I wish I was still in business. He bought so many cars. They'd love him." I said, "Probably right, Dad. They probably would."
No, I couldn't, Scott. I could never be Joe.
Yeah, you could be Joe Hupert. That'd be good. With the nose, we had to do your face like Joe Hupert's face with the scowling face. No, we do a face thing. Make a nose on you. Do the glasses. And make that so you make a scowling like mad all the time. I saw him look at me like this through the window. It scared me. And he tells Orlando, "What's he looking at me for?" What am I looking for? I'm waiting. This guy's going side door, and there's him with the drape looking. Oh, what the hell? I'm like, that was scary. To me, it was, because he's like, and he walked right in the door, the side door, right in the house.
I was never intimidated by the way people looked at me.
Well, I was 20. Well, I was 23 years old. I was a little kid. You know, I didn't know. I would say, don't look at the window. I'll be out in 5 minutes. Just wait. And it was me, 1983, 84. I'm in the driveway at Oakbrook's house, right? And, you know, I didn't know what, I knew he was a boss, but I didn't realize how big, who knows at 23 years old back then? I didn't know. And I know that although he had problems, he was going to court with casino, I think, at that time. He had the investigation going on. They all had that, you know.
That was when that was in Kansas City. That's
right. Yeah. That guy, that cheap ass guy, he was putting all the money spent in gas.
But an interesting thing about that is when he got to Kansas City, he didn't bring family. He didn't bring a bodyguard. He didn't bring a driver. They go to his hotel. He'd go to a taxi cab. And then he'd get out of the taxi cab and he had a walker that he used to walk with in the trunk.
Yeah.
Walk all the way up the steps. They didn't have a ramp in those days.
Right.
It took him like maybe 20 minutes to get up there. So you think they were there with the cameras shooting him every day? The cameras.
And they bring the money back from Chicago, popping fresh. They go to Lombard with the suitcase trunk and they have pies on top of the money. Pies from popping fresh sitting on top.
There was something else.
Yeah, that was going to April's house.
It's time we go, and I'll see.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me in. Guys, put some questions down. Ask Red, and I'll do my research. Okay? All right. Thank you, Red. Thanks for having me on.
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you again. Appreciate you all. May God bless you all. Thank you.
The combination of the videotapes and Wemette's testimony resulted in the conviction of 2 men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.